Hello, everyone. Welcome to Garage Lore Podcast episode number 23, the Ekans episode. As always, I am one half your tag team champions, Jeff, and joining me is the immaculate Chicago gentleman himself, Tim. And Tim, we are on the Ekans podcast episode. Would you be interested in hearing about the number 23 Pokemon Ekans?
Of course.
Ekans is not a great Pokemon to keep around the house, especially if you have younger brothers and sisters. This cunning fighter is also one of Team Rocket's favorite Pokemon to use in battle. Oh, there's also a little trivia note here. Did you know that Ekans' name spelled backwards is Snake?
I thought it was Dracula.
Oh yeah, it spells Dracula backwards, of course.
Yeah.
Well, Tim, how are you? It's been a few weeks since we recorded our last podcast episode. We're coming off a long weekend. How have you
Yeah.
been?
Well, my apartment smells a little bit like vinegar at the moment.
I saw that in the notes. Can you explain the meaning behind the vinegar?
I was just cleaning up doing the whole coffee pot clean, where it's just like, hey, fill the carafe with vinegar and the other half water, and then just run the cycle.
Oh, I need to do that also. My coffee makers does the thing where it's like, hey man, you need to clean me.
Yeah.
Like, no,
I think
fam.
I think I have the same model as you. I
Oh,
might have
you.
I might have bought the same one because I think I asked you about that at some point.
That's right. You asked me.
Yeah.
So is it doing the thing where it's like it did the thing where it's like, yeah, clean me, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
no. Oh man. In my neck of the woods, I spent my holiday break. Well, they were closed on July 4th, but I got my dog's haircut. He gets pretty shaggy every 3 months, so I had to get my dog his haircut. But that's the big news from my end of things. My dog no longer looks like a shaggy dog. At least for
Yeah.
I'll get back to you in 3 months when he's shaggy once again.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had a pretty chill weekend, holiday weekend that is.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I pretty much I went to a buddy's place down the street, just hung out there all like Saturday. Yeah, Saturday, and he cooked like I think it was like 20 something burgers, 20-ish hot dogs, and like a bunch of chicken, and it was maybe like 10 people. So we were just
Okay.
eating off of for like an entire day.
It was weird
So
because like July 4th was a Monday this year.
yeah,
And then like I had fireworks going on the Sunday night, and then once
yeah,
again on the Monday night. It's like, can we as a community decide upon which day the fireworks are at? Come on, fam. What are we doing? What are we doing?
yeah. My buddy lives on, I guess it's technically the second floor or something like that, but he has like a large deck, like balcony thing that's just, I don't know how like deep it is. It's probably like at least 6 feet deep or something like that. So it's got plenty of space to just walk around and everything. And it shares the same, like it's all along the side of the building with their neighbors. So like the neighbors were hanging out too. So it's just a
Hmm.
bunch of us just hanging out there, and they have like a good view of fireworks whenever there's any fireworks going on, which there were like in the alleys, like near along my street and everything. So, but
Hmm.
that's kind of
Hmm.
typical around here.
Well, we've got a lot to discuss since the last episode we recorded. A lot of stuff has gone up on our socials. First and foremost, we are very close to finishing the series Cozy Boy
Yeah,
Hours, at least this
the
season of
unpacking.
Cozy Boy Hour, the
Yeah, the
Unpacking
unpacking.
series. Because I remember we were trying to brainstorm what should we stream for that evening. Was like, what should we stream this evening? I'm like, well, this is going to be the last episode of Unpacking. Let's have Tim part of this one.
Yeah,
It is not the last episode of Unpacking. It is a multi-part final episode because normally I don't like for those episodes to go longer than
right.
1 hour ish. You know what I mean? But that final level, man, it's a doozy because like you saw for yourself, Tim. You get into the strat of like let's unbox everything and then
Yeah,
let's work from there and let's place things so that the game will tell us like, okay, this is placed wrong, this is placed wrong. We unboxed everything and that was already the 1 hour mark for that final level. So I was like, let's call it there. But we are on the
Yeah,
cusp of finishing Unpacking. I would hope. Like I told, like I don't know if there's a secret
yeah.
Bruce Wayne Manor final episode, final level, but I feel
Was
like that's got to be
the
the
yeah
last one.
the previous videos, you had what, like, per one level you had at least finished an entire level or whatever you want to call them
Oh yeah,
in a single video, or even
yeah. I
multiples.
think I did like I was knocking down
Yeah,
two in one video.
yeah. And this one was like we didn't even finish one because it was just
Right,
like a big time commitment.
right. So Unpacking, I'm still enjoying that game, but we're saving that finale for a special final stream where we will get super cozy. But also there's another game that's cozy-ish, but also a bit kind of stressful because we're diving into the world of biz dev. Because we've been playing a
Yeah.
game dev story, which I thought would be a haha fun time because we've both been working in the world of game dev studios in real life, but like that game is addictive in a weird type of way because like you get attached to like, oh, I'm making a make-believe game that's like a golf puzzle game. Like we made some weird like
Oh,
combination
see.
game and we're like it made it to the top of the charts. We broke into top 10 and you feel some weird sense of accomplishment. And then there was the end of that video stream. We upgraded our studio to a new office.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, Tim, like I'm kind of addicted to that game, but as far as I know, you can only have one save file in that game. So as much as I
Oh,
want to, yeah, I'm waiting for you when you're ready to play Game Dev Story again.
yeah.
I'm itching to get back in there. We gotta win the game awards or something. But also
Yeah,
that being
it's
said,
those it was interesting seeing that cuz like I didn't expect, I don't know if this is like, I don't know if this was like a peek into actual biz dev from like the early, I guess, 80, like in the 80s and 90s or whatever. But like obviously parts of that game are exaggerated and everything, but like
oh yes,
the the short like shelf time for games, for some of those games, it was like I didn't expect it to be that short in that game, but you know, it kind of makes sense given how um like the 80s there was like that big video game crash or whatever, right? With like there were just so many developers putting out so many games constantly, so it kind of makes sense in that regard.
it's weird because that game is never clear about what time period it's taking place in
Yeah,
because it's
I
like
mean,
do you want to you got to hire people? Do you want to use an online ad? But also Nintendo is releasing its IES, and what was the Sega equivalent in that game? I'm blanking it, but Sega was
uh,
releasing the
oh,
Exodus.
Exodus, yeah, yeah.
So it's like
And then there
this
was like an
is
Atari equivalent or something like that.
right, and it was like all right. So this is early '90s, but also like we're doing online ads to recruit people.
Yeah,
Some weird stuff.
and radio ads and all that stuff. It was, I don't know. It was like a
Yeah, but
weird anachronistic game with just like combining a bunch of time periods into one. But I mean, there's still like that passage of a slow passage of time through it, but still, it's weird.
and one thing I'll say is that it's exaggerated, like you said. There's
Yeah,
there's wacky stuff where it's like this is not at all like game dev, but there is aspects of it that's like, okay, like before we start our next project, let's do some contract work to
yeah.
build some of our funds so that we can get a license to do a thing for this console. And that's a very broad stroke of biz dev, but like, yeah, that's a thing. You do contract work, a studio does contract work and then builds up funds to do their next project.
And sometimes like the project that you're working on that is intended to be like a new IP or whatever, a unique thing that is your own project. Sometimes that gets turned into like a licensed thing or something like that. So you do end up doing some contract work on top of that existing project that you're working on, or it gets transformed into that. If like for whatever reason you don't have the funds or whatever,
Right.
which
And
is
then like there are
kind of
certain
typical
tasks,
actually.
right? There are tasks like we don't have a designer on staff, but we have this design work to do, so we'll contract it out to someone who's
Yeah,
not within our internal staff. But
or
then that's
even
going to
just
cost us
like
extra.
or even just like people wearing many hats essentially, because
Right.
sometimes studios are small enough where that's like hey, we need this work done. Who can do it? That kind of thing.
Right. It's intriguing that the game lets you do like, all right, you don't have a designer. Do you want your writer to do it?
Yeah,
It's like that's not going to be good, but like they have
it's
stats
something.
in
Yeah,
that category,
I
so
mean
I guess so. Yeah.
that was like game development, especially in the early '80s and throughout the '80s and '90s, like when teams were so small, like of like a handful of people. So yeah, it makes sense.
And oh, I hope my microphone's not picking up the fireworks back behind me right now. I don't know. Oh,
Just a
right.
little,
It's probably from
just
the
slight.
baseball stadium. But that being said, on top of Unpacking and Game Dev Story, both very chill games, we move
Hmm.
on to another super chill game that I've been playing, Dark Souls, which is not at all relaxing. And it's funny because like we were talking how on our Twitch stream we're actually getting some viewer engagement from me playing Dark Souls, and it's like, man, I'm not having a great time playing this game. But if this is what it takes for Garage Lore to get on the map, I'll do it. It's very much like a Forrest McNeil situation.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen so many people just like that. That game just kind of pulls people to it as far as like, hey, someone's new to playing this. Let's check it out, see what they're up to. Because this, like, if you look at um, streams or subreddit for that game, like, there's a lot of people when they get into it, other people are invested in that as well because they're it's that experience, like that whole living vicariously through someone's first experience, just to get to see what their first experience is like, just kind of see it replayed like that.
Is that the sick satisfaction you're getting from all this, Tim? You
A
can't
little bit.
relive the joy of
Of
experiencing it for the first time, so you got to see me suffer through
course.
it.
Honestly, you've been trucking along pretty well. Like it's better than like what I've done where I just kind of sat in one area and didn't make any progress for like much longer period of time. At least when I
How
first started.
I've seen different estimations of how many hours a typical initial playthrough is of that game. What's your ballpark estimate? How many hours of a first timer playing through Dark Souls?
I don't know. Like
Wow.
I think I hit like 80 hours and didn't stop and stopped for my first playthrough, and then I picked it back up for another, I don't know, 40, 50 hours, and that was just because I didn't know what I was doing or wasn't good at it or anything like that. Had no guide, or I even with like some internet guides and stuff, it was just like I'm not very good at this, and I have no one to guide me in any way, or at least like even just not so much just knowing where to go, but also like strategy for how to deal with certain situations or whatever.
How many deaths would you say is typical for an initial run? Like, because what I'm at
No
22 right
idea.
now,
Yeah,
no
no.
idea,
Yeah,
no
like
best estimate.
unless someone's keeping track, I have no idea.
Okay.
Like even in my own like current playthroughs, like I still die all the time. Sometimes it's just really like it's reminds me of like Hitman in that that game is not. I mean, it is sort of funny in a way, but like it still takes itself seriously. Like in the case of Dark Souls, like still weird, funny stuff happens, even though the game still plays itself straight, even though it's not really narratively straight or at least not played funny or anything like that. Because like you just get into funny situations in that game is what it is.
Mhm.
Kind of like
I guess that
I think there was a situation where you wasn't there a situation where you fell off a cliff or something like or fell off an edge or something like that. I could be misremembered, but there's definitely
I
a part
don't.
where oh like the part where you're on the bridge and the dragon just like breathe fire over you and just
Oh yeah,
completely
was I
missed you.
supposed to die during that?
Yeah. I mean, I was expecting you to get hit by it at the very least and almost die, if not die. But
I was
you just
rewatching that clip because I wanted to understand what happened, and it seemed like there was like a swirl around my head. Was that I?
that was unrelated, but that was just like somehow you survived that, or it just didn't even get hit. I don't know. That was funny to me.
if this is the series that puts Garage Lore on the map, Tim, I'm gonna have some feelings about it. Garage Lore is gonna get on the map by Jeff getting tilted with the Ford Taurus demon. Man. And it stinks because like I I was thinking like every time I die, I can pick up the souls that I dropped. But then it dawned like you eventually taught me like, okay, it goes away if you don't drop it on the
Yeah,
if you don't pick it up on the next run. And I was like, oh man, I had 2K during that run, or I had X hundred
that's
souls on that run.
yeah. Honestly, like the way I've played those games is like at a certain point, I just kind of realized like, hey, don't even worry about that. You're gonna get the souls regardless. So just like the game is totally playable no matter how much souls you end up accumulating and how many levels you accumulate. So there's no point like worrying about it.
I definitely did not get a chance to because we stopped at the bonfire at the end of the last episode. It dawned on me like, oh, I didn't level up any of my stuff. So when we start the next episode, we should definitely do that
Yeah,
before I drop those souls I have on me.
yeah,
That'd probably be an egregious oopsie.
yeah. It's not the worst. I mean, people will do dumb stuff all the time just and lose all their souls. Like they're
Are there
just not
people who
realizing order.
are there people who do runs without ever using souls to upgrade or level up?
I mean, yeah, I've done that. I played
Oh
through the game
man.
without ever leveling up. Like it's totally doable because like the thing is, you can upgrade your weapons and armor and stuff like that, which doesn't like affect your level. So, but they'll improve the stats of them.
Huh.
So
Huh.
it is a way to play it. It definitely becomes more challenging because like your health bar and stamina bar is based on your it is only increased by your stats basically, so you can't really increase that, but everything else is still fine.
All I'll say is that, Tim, you have told me that Dark Souls is a comfort game for you. I
Yeah.
feel no comfort. I feel nothing but the utmost dread looking at that game. But if that's what gets Garage Lore on the map, we will do the you will be my producer Grant and I will be Forrest McNeil
Yeah.
eating the pancakes. And in my case, the pancakes being episodes of Dark Souls
Yeah.
remastered.
Do the job.
Uh do the job.
What was the thing? I could
We've
have sworn. I forgot what he said, but yeah, something bad like that.
what in review where
Yeah.
producer Grant always makes the comparison about growing fungus on a stick and the guy who discovered penicillin.
Yeah.
Is- we also finished Shredder's Revenge on stream recently. What did you think of the game,
Right.
Tim?
Yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a banger. It's a real
yeah.
banger. As someone
I mean,
who
it's
very much enjoyed, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's really short, but I mean that's kind of expected for
That's
a beat 'em up.
that's that genre. That's that
Yeah.
genre. You're
Yeah,
not
I
you're
don't
not
know.
in it for the 25-hour, story heavy game.
Yeah, there was Castle Crashers, which in my mind that game is like 30 hours, but it's probably like 5 or 6 or something like that, you know. But even so, like that one is longer than like a typical beat 'em up.
And something I like was the overworld aspect of playing through Shredder's Revenge because it gives it a sense of more length in terms of like, hey, find my diaries or find these hidden
Right,
newspapers.
because
And we were
you could
looking
go
for like
back and do
battle
all the
toads or something, and
yeah,
somewhere there's like some offshoot battle toads.
yeah. Like I mean that's something that's from the comics or anything. I don't think anything is necessarily new for the game. Like new characters as far as I know. But
It
yeah,
sounds like
having
the fireworks stopped,
collectibles.
by the way, everyone. We're free from the fireworks at least for now. But yeah, I think the replayability comes from, the weirdos like me who try to beat the game on normal mode. And then we're like, well, surely I can
Yeah.
do this on the next difficulty, which in this case,
Yeah,
what was it called? Gnarly difficulty in Shredder's Revenge?
sounds about right. And then
Yeah.
there's also the like each level has a few challenges, something like that, if I remember correctly. Like I remember there's definitely a challenge where it's
Yeah.
like, hey, don't get hit, or one where it's
Yep.
like, don't take any damage from like level hazards or something like that.
hmm And the music in that game was really good too. I liked
Yeah,
Turtles Over Broadway, which I think any auto-scrolling level in that game had some really good music. And then when you get to the Shredder boss fight, the one of the Shredder boss fights near the end, the Wu-Tang Clan theme song plays, and
Oh right.
it's so good for fighting Shredder at that moment.
Yeah.
Great game, and I'm looking forward to the Cowabunga collection coming out because there's
Oh,
some
that's right.
TMNT games that I have not yet played that look really good, like Hyperstone Heist, which look, Genesis did not get Turtles in Time, but from what I've seen of Hyperstone Heist, it looks very similar to Turtles in Time, so I'm excited to play that.
Yeah, they
So
definitely had
Cowabunga,
a lot of those beat 'em ups in that era. Um,
oh yeah,
I feel
and
like they could
it's
have done a little bit more with the turtles, like outside of just doing a beat 'em ups sort of game.
I mean, what kind of Turtles game would you want? Would you want to see?
I don't know.
You want that JRPG Ninja
I'm
Turtles
like,
game?
in my mind, I'm like, it's some kind of turn based thing, but no.
I want the
It
Ninja
would be kind
Turtles
of
dating
funny.
sim.
There was, I could have sworn there was some kind of 3D action game made, possibly made by Platinum or something like that. Does that sound familiar?
I'm blanking on what game you might be talking about.
Yeah, I don't remember. I never played it, so I don't know if that's even real or not. Because I remember
You dreamed it.
there was a Transformers game, I think that they made, and then I think this was sometime within the past 10 years. So, because there was like a string of like licensed games that they put out um, before
I
like
know they did like I'm not Platinum, but I recall there was a Turtles game that was like a reimagining of Turtles in Time that they released in Xbox Live Arcade or something, but
right,
they took that down. So now it's kind of a piece of lost media at this point if you don't have an Xbox that has it downloaded.
yeah,
Uh yeah, I don't know. Turtles have come back in a big way. Well, not a big way, but mostly for Shredder's revenge.
yeah. Like
On
it's
that note,
definitely
something
like
that
I've seen like people's interest in turtles have increased from this just from this game, which is good,
right.
even
Something
if
else
for
I've
a
been
short time.
playing. I adore golf games. We were playing golf with your friends, which is a fun game. I enjoyed everybody's golf on PS4, but now that I've got my GameCube set up to do recordings, I've been playing Mario Golf Toadstool Tour. I've been uploading footage for our YouTube channel, and something that's funny is that I think to myself, is there anyone else out there that's making Mario Golf GameCube content? So I've been
Yeah,
titling our
I'd
videos
imagine.
like 2022 Lakitu Cup because surely I might be the only person playing the
You're
Lakitu Cup.
yeah, you're competing with all the other people doing these.
Yeah, all the six of us who are still making Mario Golf GameCube content in 2022.
Yeah.
But that game still holds up. I still like that game a lot. But that being said, like golf games are hard to mess up, man. I feel like if you get a good team together, it's hard to mess up a good golf game.
Yeah, I mean, it is more I could definitely see ways of messing it up, but still like this it's not like a genre that is like if you just stick to regular golf, like regular golf rules or whatever, without doing anything wacky or anything, like it's hard to mess up. But once you start introducing other elements, then there's a lot more risk for messing it up.
Mm-hmm. Is there any golf games that you're into outside of everybody's golf, or not everybody's golf? Golf with your friends?
Um, I played was it golf on Mars Golf, something like that. I forget the name. I think there was
I'm not
a
sure what you're
mobile.
talking about, but
There's like a mobile app where it's just like it's also on PC too. Golf on Mars,
hmm.
and it's like it's a side scrolling thing or whatever you want to call it, and you just it's just endlessly scrolls, and you just there's new holes. It's kind of like as if it was like an endless runner sort of thing, but instead of running, you're just golfing on Mars or whatever. And I don't remember if they did anything different with like gravity or something, but I think there was also like I could have sworn there was like a like a moon golf as well, a moon version, which Like that's something they could easily like play around with different gravity settings and whatnot.
Hmm. Yeah, I am not a good golfer in real life, but I adore golf games. I can
Yeah,
maybe go to the driving range and I can hook a few shots, but that's the extent of my golf skills. But golf games, still quality. Mario
yeah.
Golf Toadstool Tour still holds
There
up.
was I remember this one um, golfing sort of mini game in Dark Cloud 2. I don't know if you played that game at all.
Yeah.
And it had like this weird I don't know what it was. It was like a weird golf sort of mini golf, but not really. But it was like the holes were just floating around in various places in this like in the air or whatever, and you'd have to try to and instead of using a normal club, you use like a flamingo or something, if I remember correctly. I don't know. My memory of this is like a little vague at the moment because like I haven't played that
I don't
game
know.
in at least 10 years. I just remember that being
Well,
really frustrating for whatever reason.
you know what else reminds me of golf is Norman Reedus as Sam Bridges going across the country to bring people together, which not at all reminds me of golf, but we got to pivot to this somehow. That you've been streaming Death
Yeah.
Stranding on our Twitch channel, and I'm someone who never finished that game when it first. I got the vanilla version on PS4 years ago. I got to. I'm sorry if this is spoilers. If anyone's playing Death Stranding for the first time, I got to the part where you got to make zip lines, and the game says, "Hey, go to the mountains," and I was like, I just want to make zip lines and I made a bunch of zip lines and I just kind of burnt out of the game and I just never finished it from there. So seeing you play through Death Stranding has kind of gotten me in the mood to load up my file and just see it through. How have you been enjoying this director's cut of Death Stranding?
I don't know what's different so far. Like I
What
played a little bit of the base game, and I'm kind of at the same point where I just got to the same point of where I was in the base game. I was playing it a little bit earlier today, and I'm at the point where I'm building up roads and stuff. I think it's episode 3 is what they called it, something like that. Um, so it's like the third area technically, I think. Um, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's the BT stuff is kind of annoying, but like for the most part, you can just avoid them, so it's not too bad.
I would agree the BT stuff kind of kills pacing sometimes when it's
Yeah,
like I get it. You have to have some sort of spooky actiony type of thing here, but like I just want to make my deliveries, man. I don't want I don't want to walk through this.
yeah. Like even the parts where you're like running into mules and stuff, that's fine, because at least that's not like um, that you actually have a much easier way of fighting back or whatever instead of just having a stealth or whatever. Or like the BTs feel like this weird stealth sort of thing.
Yeah, it's just and it's a drag too. Like there are ways to fight the BTs because it's like what was it, the hematic grenades
Yeah,
we saw during the stream that's a kill. And then you can use your other type of grenades that you get from your Gamer Girl bathwater grenades or whatever.
yeah,
Whenever you make boom boom, you get types of grenades, which I'm sure makes sense, I guess. But it's just those segments are a real bummer. When I was into like the aspect of building roads, building bridges, and zip lines, and it's like, oh boy, it's raining. Here comes BTs. I
yeah.
just
If
want to make my deliveries.
I don't know if at any point it opens up to be much more sandboxy instead of just like
Hmm.
a little. I mean, it's not fully linear or anything like that, but it's still like a bit more linear than I would like because I would like it to just be like imagine a game similar like an open game like Minecraft where you are free to just build wherever. So like you could theoretically just build um, the roads and bridges and whatnot wherever you want, but you still have to make packages to like I guess different like outposts that are just positioned randomly in the world or whatever. Just
Hmm.
making deliveries and still having to do all that interesting like walking simulator stuff. I guess you want if you want to call it that.
I think we talked about this on stream, how there was a lot of mystery behind that game when the vanilla version was coming out about like what is Death
Yeah, because there
Stranding?
was like leading up to it, you all there were was just like the cinematic trailer stuff, and there's like you didn't know what it was until
Right.
it actually came out, pretty much. And so you had, I remember a lot of people were just, it was very much a hit or miss game for a lot of people because they
Hmm.
didn't know what it was.
And again, this is something we talked about on stream. I would make the argument that the part where that game becomes compelling, you have to get past maybe like 2 hours of this starting area,
Yeah.
which you don't have access to vehicles. You don't know that you can, build
Right.
roads and have different types of vehicles that can carry multiple packages. There you don't, it doesn't dawn on you that this stuff becomes a thing until you're at like 2 hours in and you
Yeah.
get past that first boss fight.
Like I did that boss fight earlier, and it was my memory of doing that like a year ago or whenever it was I did it. It like I thought it was much more annoying, but this time it was just like, oh, I just gotta throw a few grenades at this thing and that's it. And it was while also just like climbing on some roofs of some buildings
Yep.
that are slowly collapsing or whatever. It was like really easy.
Since you got to that part, does the game still do the thing where it's like, hey man, this might be the last time you see this area for a while. Do you want to wrap up everything? And
It
then
did
you get to the
that.
next. Yeah, why does it do that? Because you can
I
totally
don't
just
know.
go back to that area.
Because immediately after I get to the new place, and then they're like, "Hey, you can now fast travel to the previous place." I'm like, what was the point in that? Such
See,
a
that's
weird
why I think
messaging.
if you are a completionist mindset type of person, the game doing
Right.
that to you does not do it any favors because I'm
No.
sure there are people out there who got to that message and were like, well, no, I got to finish these deliveries in this first area, not knowing that, no, just go to the next area, get the new stuff, and then come back here.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Death Stranding. Compelling in a unique type of way, I will say.
Yeah. I'm
I
still
kind of got the
enjoying it.
itch to. I got the itch to revisit it now
Yeah.
watching you play. But that being said, something that I've been playing, I did a video on the YouTube channel also, but I was looking through some GBA games that I own, something, looking for stuff I could probably do for content for our channels. And I saw Sonic Advance 2, and it dawned on me that I had never 100%ed that game. And Tim, how many Sonic games have you played personally? Are you familiar with what it usually takes to 100% a Sonic game?
No idea.
For a 2D Sonic game, you would probably get 7 Chaos Emeralds, right? And that gives you access to play Supersonic, and that gives you a chance to fight a secret boss. That's typical Sonic 2D Sonic formula. In
Okay.
Sonic Advance 2, there are 4 characters: Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and a new character, Cream the Rabbit. And you have to collect 7 Chaos Emeralds to get Supersonic, and then you fight a secret boss. But the Chaos Emeralds are all tracked separately across the 4 characters. So you could get the 7 Chaos Emeralds with Sonic, and you'll get Supersonic, and you'll fight the final
Oh, so you
secret
have to get
boss.
all seven with each character?
That's 28 Chaos Emeralds, Tim.
Okay.
That is 28 Chaos Emeralds I had to get, and 28 different bonus stages, bonus areas I had to do. And the prize for getting all 28 Chaos Emeralds is I got to play Amy, who was a character that was already available in Sonic Advance 1. So that being said, well, first of all, I like Amy as a character, so I'm not salty about unlocking her. It's just a weak prize to unlock someone who probably should have been
Right.
available from the beginning of the game.
Here's your
But
hidden character, the character from the previous game.
right. But I also wear it like a weird badge of honor because I was looking through
Sure.
some YouTube comments sections and I was looking through some old forum threads on GameFAQs or whatever. There are people who are equally tilted as I was. Like, why do you have to do all this to unlock Amy? I don't think I'm ever gonna do this. And I would love to know if there's some weird life hack that happens at the pearly gates where I get to know weird stats. How many people have unlocked Amy in Sonic Advance 2? Am I part of a tight-knit brotherhood of maybe less than 100 people out there?
It's probably way more than that, but still.
Like it's funny because like this was long before achievement tracking was a thing, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure this is one of those things where if there was achievement tracking back in the GBA days, that this is less than X% of people have done this.
Yeah.
But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. My prideful moment since our last recording is that I unlocked Amy in Sonic Advance 2.
Are the Chaos Emeralds like hidden, or are they just like on the main path of a level or whatever?
So let me you're gonna have to envision this in your mind's eye, Tim. In every stage of the game, there are 7 special rings. And when
Okay.
you unlock the you have to get each one without dying, because if you
Okay.
die, it resets and you've lost them.
Sure.
7 rings in a stage, take them to the end of the stage, and if you have all 7, it'll take you to a bonus stage. And if you do the bonus stage correctly, that's when you get the Chaos Emerald for that zone.
Okay.
So there are people on the forums and the YouTube comments that are like, I can't even get one Chaos Emerald, let alone 28.
So it is like
It's
a skill. It is a skill check in a way.
Yes. There's
Okay.
no RNG or anything like that. You
It's not a
gotta
matter of just like, hey, just collect this one thing that just
and
happens to be in the area or whatever.
what's funny is that I remember trying to do this because when I loaded up my file, I had 1 Chaos Emerald. I'm like, did I make an attempt at doing this before? And this game came out like 2003, 2004. So back then, all we had were GameFAQs guides. And so, like, if you try, and GameFAQs guides were just text only. So if you're looking at a GameFAQs guide trying to tell you where to find the special rings, it's like, go past the second loop de loop and then drop down to the rail and grind down and that's surely what I must have gone through. But
Yeah.
now, we live in the future and I can look up a JPEG image that some mad lad on speedrun.com was kind enough to show and circle where all the special rings are at. That's how I got the special rings and the Chaos Emeralds in Sonic Advance 2. That was a mouthful. Now I seem like a Sonic weirdo, and I am. But let's well, I don't have anything more to add to that. I'm just part of a tight knit brotherhood of people who are sick in the head to unlock Amy Rose in Sonic Advance 2.
Vaguely remember trying to hunt down a few of the Chaos Emeralds in Sonic Adventure 2, but I don't think I ever actually completed that or anything.
Oh, it was something different in Sonic Adventure 2. I think I don't recall. There's like a secret. You had to do the bad guy path and you had to do the good guy path, and that unlocks another level. It wasn't as weird, but still weird.
Yeah.
But on that note, I've been trying to play some obscure, lesser known games for our YouTube channel. Are you familiar with Jackie Chan's Stuntmaster on the
Yes.
PS1?
Only because I've seen it a couple times and that's about it.
It is a beat 'em up game, I guess is the best way to describe it, but also it's tough because it has platforming elements that don't feel good, but also like
Yeah.
I, as much as that game is tricky with its platforming, I loaded up a file where I had completed the game. So somewhere Kid Jeff completed Jackie Chan Stuntmaster, and it's funny because like if there's a special code you can unlock or you input on the main menu screen and you unlock a making of the game video or you see Jackie Chan in the mocap suit and he's talking about, oh, what's it like being in a game, Jackie?
What platform was this?
PS1.
Huh. And they had
Yes.
video and everything on there too.
I mean, it's PS1, it's a disc.
Yeah.
There's PS1 games with video. Yeah.
Hmm.
When I uploaded that video on the YouTube channel, I don't know if I told you this, Tim, there was like one part of licensed music where YouTube was like, no, 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 no. So I had to do a quick edit out of
Yeah.
that small bit. But yeah, Jackie Chan Stuntmaster. Like I'm trying to do a mishmash of, lesser known games and popular games on our YouTube channel. So it's like I try to do Metal Gear Solid, but then I throw you guys a curveball with like Tiny Toon Adventures, Buster Bust Loose. Great game, but that was one of the only games on our channel that I just finished in one video,
Oh,
beginning to
okay.
end, Buster
That
Bust
explains why it
Loose.
was long.
Yeah, that was like a 15-minute playthrough. Yeah, 50-minute playthrough. Beginning to end, Buster Bust Loose. Still a great game, by the way. I will not hear any discourse about Buster's Hidden Treasure on Genesis being a better game. Get out of here with that ish. I had some friends try to convince me otherwise, and they were no longer my friends. But on that note, one final thing I'll bring up is that I'm trying to get back into fighting games, Tim. I went through a
Okay.
phase in when I was in college or getting my degree. I had a group of friends who were super into fighting games, and they, first it was Super Street Fighter 4, and then that led me into retroactively playing Street Fighter Third Strike, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I played a lot of King of Fighters, even some obscure games like Neo Geo Battle Coliseum, or I'm one of the handful of people that remember Tatsunoko versus Capcom, and I had a fight stick and everything. And eventually I got to a point where I just stopped playing fighting games. And part of it was that I was better than a normie, but I was still not
Right.
ascending up to the higher tiers of like, you know, oh, you got a super, what was it like? Focus attack, dash cancel into your super, and then do an EX Tatsu into a thing. And it's like I just want to throw Hadoukens and then bait the jump and do a Shoryuken, man. I'm just trying to bait the jump. I don't. What are you talking about? EX Tatsu. But I'm trying to get back into fighting games, and I uploaded me playing through Capcom versus SNK 2, which is probably one of my favorite fighting games. It might be number one in terms of my favorite roster of characters, but it's kind of given me the itch to get back into it. I've been looking at like fighting sticks I might want to buy, and I still have Dragon Ball Fighter Z on my Steam library. I kind of want to buy a fight stick if I'm going to get back into it. I want to buy a proper like I think Hori brand is the one that I was super the one I had previously. But yeah, man, trying to get back into fighting games, but also like I'm like the old gunslinger, I don't have it anymore. I know people are getting hyped for Street Fighter 6. All the muscle memory is lost on me at this point.
I mean, it's yeah, like, they're still like, it's a genre that's still releasing games somewhat regularly still. So it's not like there's no shortage of them or anything.
Hmm.
It was never a
I don't
genre I
know.
like kept up with, to be honest. Like I played a little bit of like Mortal Kombat and stuff over the years. Um, I I grew up on like Mortal Kombat 2 at like in an arcade cabinet. Um, but beyond that, like I
I'm,
never really played a ton over the years.
I'm glad you brought up Mortal Kombat because I have my Super Nintendo by me and I was looking at, games I might want to record content for the channel. And I have Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 on Super Nintendo. And I said to
Okay.
myself, if I'm remembering correctly, the AI in this game is super unfair. And I
Yeah,
know
that's what I
people on
remember.
YouTube have done videos about how the AI reads your input and stuff like that. And in my
Oh,
head, I'm like, is it as bad as I remember? And I loaded it up, and it is 100% as
yeah,
bad as I remember. But that being said, like, I saw people making content about like you can beat the AI by using, I think, smoke or cyber smoke, or no,
okay.
one of the robot characters, and you bait a projectile by jumping backwards, and then you do a teleport jump. There's ways to cheese the AI
Like
which are
Sector or
super
Cyrax or
silly.
something.
Yeah, like
Huh.
whichever robot character has like a teleport uppercut or something,
Probably. Oh, Sector. I think has
maybe.
that. Yeah.
But yeah, man, there people found ways to cheese that AI. But it
That's
shouldn't have
just
to be that way.
yeah,
It shouldn't
yeah.
have to be
Cheesing
that
it.
way.
It's one thing to do it just because you're not capable of doing it otherwise. But like if that's like the default for everyone, it just doesn't. It just feels cheap.
Well, Tim, I've been yammering about games I've been playing. What have you been playing?
Um, I've been dabbling a little bit here and there on my Steam Deck, and we just I think yeah, the past couple weeks there was the Steam sale, so I picked up um, Yakuza Like a Dragon because that was the one
Been
I
meaning
was
to play
actually
that
interested
one.
in. Yeah, so I've been playing a little bit of that here and there. Mostly just been playing it on. I've only been playing on my Steam Deck and pretty much only like maybe an hour or two at a time, like on the weekend, just while I'm in bed or whatever. Just playing along that. So I'm not super far into it. It's not at the point like it's still a little bit silly, but it's like much more um, played straight at the moment. but from what I've seen of that game, it goes off the rails quite a bit.
That's
So
yeah. Well, I played Zero, Kiwami, and I'm close to finishing Kiwami 2. So that's that series.
yeah,
It's like a tale of two different stories where it's like the
yeah.
super serious side of Yakuza, but then it's like, hey, you want to race pocket racing cars, or you want to run like a nightclub type of deal or something. But
Have
I've been
you?
meaning to play Like a
How much of
Dragon.
those games have you played? Have you played like
Three:
okay? Because I'm curious,
Zero, Kiwami, and Kiwami 2.
like how much crossover there is between each game. Like, are you playing the same characters or a lot of the same characters like present or
So
something?
you chose probably an intriguing one to start with because Like a Dragon is like the first Yakuza game where Kiryu is not the main character.
Yeah, okay, that's what I figured. It feels like its own. Like, if you wanted to get into this series, like this could be its own completely standalone thing. Like from what I've been hearing about it. So
Yeah, and the thing is, there will be some moments in that game. I've seen some spoilers, some videos. There
mm,
will be moments where it's like, "Hey, this guy is here,"
yeah,
and you know, there's going to be longtime veterans of the series. That's like, "Oh, is that guy?" And you're going to be like, "Oh, who's this guy?"
that's fine. Like I knew going into this, I'm like, it's either start with zero or if I wanted to play the entire series or something, or just start with this one and just play this one and then see if I want to go any further than that.
Zero is a great game, Tim. If
That's what I've
you,
heard.
I won't hold it against you that you're starting off with Like a Dragon, but if you ever
Yeah,
see Zero on sale or something, that is a
pretty sure I have
fantastic
it.
game.
Like I have a few of them somehow. But yeah,
Okay.
it's I've been enjoying it so far. Like I said, I'm
Okay.
not super far, so like it's still pretty simplistic in that it's like feels very much like Dragon Quest, which was referenced early on in the game where the main character loving Dragon Quest for whatever reason. So
Oh yeah,
like that's kind of the
this
inspiration.
this is the first time in the series they do like a party battle type of deal, like a
Yeah.
turn-based battle type of deal. How does
Yeah.
that feel? Because I
I
saw
mean
gameplay of it.
it's a turn feels like a turn based battle. Like a turn
Huh.
based JRPG. I don't know. Like
For me,
they
like
haven't got anything crazy with it yet with it.
my familiarity with the series has been like almost Streets of Rage-esque, where it's like you fight dudes who just come
Right.
at you on the street. But then I saw a gameplay of this one where it was this turn-based thing,
Yeah.
and I was skeptical at first, but then it's like people
I
like
mean,
you were
there's
saying, yeah,
still
it's
like
fine.
you're just walking around in the like as you're walking around the street, you'll still see guys out in the street, and they'll walk up to you or whatever, and it'll initiate a turn-based battle with like um actual background stuff going on. So like you could theoretically get hit by a car in the middle in the middle of turn-based battle, or like I don't know how to initiate it or anything, but like you could like instead of like your main character
What
Ichiban,
is
instead of you
Ichiban or
like
something?
yeah,
Yeah.
instead of just like using his fist to punch the guy, like there are moments where I've picked up like a random object on the ground and just started hitting a guy with it. So I don't know how I initiated it, but it does stuff with like the environmental stuff in a way, like
Hmm.
I guess similar. For whatever reason, I'm thinking of the game Injustice where they do that kind of stuff. Even though it's
Environmental like
like
stuff you
yeah,
can grab.
yeah,
Another game that you streamed for us in our personal Discord was Neon White, and I thought it
yeah,
was super compelling because it was like very short stages. I don't know if you would call them that,
yeah, yeah, very
short
short.
areas, but then like there's a sense of do this in the most optimal way possible, which I thought was
Yeah,
compelling.
but it also like the thing is, it sounds like it would be very. I mean, it definitely is a game where you could speed run it in a way, like shooting for like the fastest times. But even just hitting like the game has um, four base times of like bronze, silver, gold, ace. Yeah, ace. Um, and then there's also dev times, which is I haven't seen any of those yet. Um, but like even just hitting gold, like it doesn't feel like a struggle for me personally, and it's not like I'm some expert at this sort of game or anything. So like it's definitely achievable to get like at least gold and even ace for a lot of the levels. Like just in a first couple tries or whatever, if not the first try.
When I
So it's
was
not
watching
like
you,
super tight gameplay for as far as like trying to hit the fastest times or trying to hit your your goal or whatever.
when I was watching you play, I saw, of course, the levels that
Yeah,
where you know, the actiony bits. But then
yeah,
I saw that you go to this hub area where you get to talk to these NPCs, and there's like
yeah,
almost like a dating sim aspect of like build your
yeah,
relationship and do these challenges for these guys.
yeah. It's like it doesn't feel like you're doing a lot of decision making. It's more or less just like each level, each of like the actual um, levels have a gift in it that's kind of hidden off the beaten path, and um, each gift is like for a dedicated character. So like you would just find one of the gifts in a level, and then in the hub world you just give that gift to the character, and then it improves your relationship with that character. And that's
Hmm.
like that'll unlock either like just additional dialogue or memories of the character of you, the main character, and the other character.
Yeah,
Because
I
like
remember they hint that this guy knows these people, right?
yeah, it's just like a so like the setup is that you and everyone else, all the other characters were like assassins or something like that, but um, or demon slayers or something. I forget exactly. And they've all died, and now they're like fighting for their chance to stay permanently in heaven or whatever through this weird like tournament thing. And so like there's memories of you of your character knowing all these other characters in some way, but it's still like played through amnesia in a way.
Hmm.
But
How
like
how far
as
have you
you're
gotten? Are you
unlocking,
near the end?
from what I understand, there's like 120-ish levels total. I think I'm around 60-ish, so I'm probably halfway through somewhere around there.
Okay. Have you
Like
have
each,
you I don't know if this is a spoilery question, but have you revealed some of the relationships this guy has with
yeah, a
these
little
and
bit.
like he is what's his name? Neon White, right?
Yeah,
And then there's like neon violet, neon different colors, right?
yeah, neon yellow, neon scarlet, neon
This might
green.
be a spoilery question, but have you discovered like the relationship he's had with any of these characters?
So I got to a point where I was seeing a memory with I think Violet, and it felt like it was playing out like this like flashback scene of like uh, I think it was like a bank robbery or something, and it feels
Hmm.
like this game is set up in such a way that they're like, are you familiar with the movie Reservoir Dogs?
Yeah.
It feels similar to that, if that makes sense. Like all these characters that are somewhat anonymous, but some know each other, were brought
Mm.
together for a heist or something. Like that's sort of what it feels like at the moment. Like I don't know
Okay.
if that's how
Okay.
it actually ends up playing out, but that's because like each of these characters are still referring to each other by a color. So I'm like that doesn't like they seem to know each other, but only by a color rather than like an actual name or anything beyond that.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. And you know me too. My favorite topic to discuss is Dark Souls. It says here you're hunting for Dark Souls achievements.
Yeah, I mean that's just an ongoing thing. I've just been slowly
Give me an
like
example of a Dark Soul achievement that you're hunting for. Well, a non-spoilery one, since I'm getting the blind playthroughs.
um
What's some of the most ridiculous achievements that people are hunting for in this game?
most of them are pretty straightforward. Like fully upgrade a weapon of this to this specific upgrade type, and that's I've gotten all those. Um, some of them are just like, hey, beat this boss, which again, those are all super straightforward. You get them just from playing the game. Um, and they're shooting off fireworks around me. and
We both got fireworks going
yeah,
on in our respective areas.
um, and then some of them are like progress through like some quest stuff with covenants, which is a whole separate system in the game that you haven't seen yet, really. Um, which I think I've got most, if not all, of those finished. Um, but like the rarest one is or the hardest one to get, in my opinion, is there's one where you have to get all the rare items or all the rare weapons in the game, and most of them are like you just find them on the ground or whatever. But some of them are like um, you have to fully upgrade a weapon, and then um, so bosses in the game, like a handful of bosses in the game, will drop a specific item that you then craft into a boss weapon. But then they have like a branching path, so then you have to play through the game twice to get both weapons. So I have to play through the game 3 times with the same character to get all the weapons. And Jeff is just shaking his head. He's like, I don't want none of
Three
this.
times.
Yeah, with the same
Play
character.
through the game 3 times.
With the same character. Not like I played through this game several times, like new characters each time, but like playing through the game 3 times.
What happens when you carry over a character from a previous run? Does he keep all his stuff?
You keep all your stuff. Yeah. All your
Okay.
levels, all your the only thing you don't keep are just like actual progression, like specific stuff to like key item stuff, like actual keys, for example.
Man. So in addition to watching me suffer through Dark Souls, you yourself are you're getting
It's not.
Dark
It's
Souls
not.
from every direction.
It's kind of like I just have a checklist of here are all the weapons that I currently have. This is all I've got. This is what I need, and I've got. I think there was a total of like 3 or 4 that I have left,
Hmm.
and one of them I have to beat the game again, or I have to beat the current playthrough that I'm on, and then beat a boss again in the third playthrough, and that's it.
Okay. And
But
that
like,
you would have every achievement after that? Am I understanding correctly? Or there'd
I,
still be 2 more?
I think there's like a couple others that I'll have to do some stuff in, but
Okay.
they're all gonna require some like dedicated some focus on doing those.
Okay. One game that I saw you play that I definitely don't want to gloss over is the Playdate, because
Yeah,
you were showing me some gameplay of that, and I was fascinated. Well, you showed me a couple different games. The one that caught my attention was the time travel adventures one, which was
yeah,
so clever with the way that it uses the crank and like you. I don't even know how to describe that. You're late to a date with what's her name? Crankette. The
yeah,
girl's name in that. Her name is Crankette. You wake up and you use the crank on the play date. Oh, for those of you who are you doing the visual version of the podcast, if you're watching the video version of this podcast, Tim's got it on screen right now. You use the crank to move the guy from his home and his bed to meet with Crankette, but along the way there are obstacles like a butterfly that you can't get hit by, or pigs running across the screen. Yep, there it is. There it is. And the thing is, like, you
cranking
avoid
progresses
these
the time, and you have to like
cranking.
at specific
Yes,
stop. You have to stop at certain points to progress. Oh wait, I just went
cranking
backwards.
progresses the time, but at the same time rewinds time. So through the sequence of like, let's say there's a pig that's gonna run across the screen, the ground, right? At some point during your guy's walk cycle, he's gonna climb on top of a table. So you time it so that your guy is on top of the table while the pig, runs underneath him. And it's a lot of clever stuff like that. Like a butterfly will be flying at head level, but at some point during your guy's walk cycle, he's going to bend over and sniff a
Yeah,
flower. So you time it so that he's sniffing that flower just as the butterfly is flying overhead. And it
it
sounds
reminds
simple.
it reminds me of. Are you familiar with the game Super Hot?
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of that.
Okay. I've
Where
never
like
played
the
Super
game,
Hot, but I know of
the
Super Hot.
the time in the like the game play, like the time and everything, only moves forward as you are moving. Otherwise, it's stationary. This reminds me of it in that it's similar, but like it only affects your character. Like your
Okay.
character. I mean, time is actually it's yeah, like it only affects your character. Like your character will stop like whatever they're doing mid animation and everything. Like if they're jumping, they'll stop mid jump in the air if you're not cranking or whatever. But all the other like environmental stuff is still moving forward.
There were a few other Playdate games that you showed me that I thought were super fast. There was like a disco dance. There's a pizza with a dancing pizza with cheeks. Am I remembering this
Yeah,
correctly? Maybe I just dreamed the dancing pizza. Now that I
I
think
think
about it,
it's. I don't know what it is, but I think it's just like, you know, I don't know what you would call this, but like,
a
just
rhythm game.
it's not a. It doesn't feel like it's a game. It just feels like you just build a song and that's about it.
Hmm.
Like you just build your own charts and whatever.
Like a Mario Paint, build your
Yeah,
own tune
yeah,
type of deal.
exactly. That's what it looks like. Like
Interesting.
a much like smaller, simpler thing. But like there's like because it's on this tiny screen, like there's no like text really to explain what things do. So I'm just like, I don't know what any of this does. And
How
you're
does
just
the
kind of figuring
Playdate
it out.
feel? Does it feel like flimsy or does it feel pretty
Not really.
solid? Like if you drop this thing, it's gonna be fine.
I don't know about that, but I mean, at least like using it, it feels fine. I
Uh-huh.
mean, after when I was showing you that time travel adventure game, like my fingers were a little sore from cranking it too much.
Oh, dude, we're gonna clip that audio. We're gonna clip that audio and use it for evil purposes.
Of course, but I mean, I've been playing that White Water Wipeout, which is
Oh,
that
you showed me
surfing
that
game.
one. That one was
Yeah,
cool. The guy was it surfing, right?
yeah, it's pretty
Yeah, that
straightforward.
was a
Like you
cool
just
one.
use the crank to kind of angle your character in different ways, and then all you're doing is just going up waves and spinning and that stuff.
How
I
much did you
think
pay for the play date?
I don't remember. It's like at least a
Well,
hundred. It's like at least 150-ish or something like that.
you've been digging it so far, though?
Yeah, I mean it's a solid thing, but it's like if you're coming to this like expecting like something equivalent to a Game Boy, it's not that at all. It's much more.
Hmm.
It feels like it's very much a toy in that regard.
Mm,
Like
interesting.
not so much like a thing you go to if you want a gaming platform or anything like that.
Hmm.
But like I'm
So
interested in.
it's not gonna knock out the Switch anytime soon, or it's not
No,
looking to be the new it's not
no, not
looking to
at
be the
all.
new DS or anything like that.
Yeah, if you want any kind of long form game of any sort, it's not that at all.
Hmm.
It's interesting to me because like I'm interested in playing around with the developer kit stuff, see what I can make with it, because you can sideload games onto it from like people will post their games on itch.io and you can just sideload from there onto this.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. Like, I would like the Playdate to become a big thing, just to see how that community grows. People
Yeah,
developing for the
like
Playdate
this
and this.
very niche thing. Yeah,
Right.
and it's very much like you. As far as I know, at least at the moment, I'm not buying games or anything like that for it because it's like so far it's just been I've got I think 4 games on it, and they kind of just release them. Like when I got it, I only had 2 games, and then like a week later, 2 more games showed up on it, and I think that's kind of what they're doing. They're doing it as if it's like a subscription or a season pass sort of situation where it's like every however often they'll just release the games to the person on an individual timeline as opposed to like every however many weeks releasing for everyone, but instead it seems like it's so like if you got one right now you would only get the first couple games and then the next
Mm.
couple or whatever instead of just all of them all at once, just so that you could kind of like, I guess the idea is like to give people a chance to actually play through the games instead of like here's this large catalog of stuff for this thing and just you're gonna skip over the ones that immediately don't appeal to you for whatever reason.
I kind of just want time travel adventure. I want
Yeah,
the time travel one.
yeah. It seems like some of these are totally doable outside of this, platform, but like there's
The
something to
novelty of
it.
the crank is
Yeah, yeah,
cool.
yeah.
I'm resisting the urge to make cranking jokes right now. This is a family-friendly
Of
podcast.
course. No more
But
cranking,
yeah,
Jeff.
that's all I wanted to say is that the Playdate looks really neat, and it was fun
Yeah,
watching you stream it to, like you found a way to stream it to us in our personal
yeah,
Discord, and it was
because they have a thing right on their website where you can just um I think they call it like a mirror box or whatever, where you just plug the game into your PC through like a USB-C cable because it has that port on this, and
Uh-huh.
then it just emulates or it just runs the game on the device itself, but then it also runs like the game on the PC as well, so you can see the same exact footage of the game essentially.
Hmm. Yeah. I had another thing I wanted to say about the Playdate, but now I forgot. Well, that's fine. Playdate looks neat. Time travel adventures looks like a lot
Yeah.
of fun.
The one
On that
the one
note,
thing I will say is that I wish this was backlit and it doesn't have any
is it
lighting
not
to the screen.
backlit?
Nope.
Oh,
So
that
like I have to sit in it at an angle sometimes just to see the screen.
that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Uh, on that note, I I don't have a lot to discuss. I have one final thing here for a show note, but it's like I looked at price charting. It's a website that charts like the value of video games that complete in box or loose, not in box. And apparently the most valuable GameCube game I own is not even a video game. It's a Pokemon Coliseum bonus disc that people got for pre-ordering Pokemon Coliseum,
Huh.
and it has a preview for the movie. It has a preview video for Pokemon Coliseum, but the thing that makes it valuable is it's one of the few ways to get a legit copy of Jirachi in Pokemon Emerald, Ruby, and
Right.
Sapphire. And I remember getting this disc when Circuit City was going out of business, and it was in a discount bin, and it cost me $1. And it's insane to see that complete in box, it's like $190 being charted at.
Jeez.
It's insane. So I made $189 profit. But that being said, on one hand, I'm flexing, but on the other hand, that's so stupid. I will be the first to say, like, it's not even a game worth, it's not a game. It's just like a way to get Jirachi. If I could,
Oh,
if I could find a way to clone Jirachi for you all, I'd do it. It's no one should have to spend that money for one Pokemon.
yeah. Because that was at the time. They're still probably doing it, but like the rare legendaries were only given out at like events or whatever, or just you'd have to go to like whatever game store or whatever near you, like a Toys R Us for example, to get
Oh
something
yeah.
like a Mew or a Celebi or whatever.
Were you there when they did were you in the Pokemon craze when they did the Mew giveaway at Woodfield Mall? Where it's like, hey,
I never
come,
went to any of those, but yeah, I mean, I
I
was
went to
playing the
one of
game at the
those.
time.
They gave you someone hooked like a Pokemon representative or staffer hooked up a thing to your Game Boy and gave you a Mew, and
Huh.
they had a certificate with like your official Mew, and there was a number and all that. I
So
think, oh man,
like this thing.
are you about to bust out an official? Oh, from our Pokemon skateboards.
Yeah, yeah,
Did we ever discuss our Pokemon skateboards on this podcast?
yeah,
Surely we did.
yeah. We did.
Well, I got a Glaceon, Tim got an Umbreon.
Yeah,
We got the Bear Walker skateboards. We should have done an unboxing video. I was so excited to see my Glaceon skateboard that it did not dawn on me that that would make compelling content. But that being said,
yeah.
I don't think we were doing stuff with our YouTube channel just yet.
I don't think we were. It was like right before
Yeah.
that.
Next time we'll get the full Eevee line of skateboards. But that being said, we're over the 1 hour mark, Tim. Is there any of these? We can save these
There
for
was
the next
something I thought
episode.
of though,
Go on.
unrelated to this, but I've been like I've been into Magic the Gathering for like 20 plus years now at this point. Something I've
Uh-huh.
been dipping into the past few days lately with it. Um, I've been playing around with this format of it called Pauper, and the idea is like you just build a deck using only common cards, which is an interesting way to play it because like um, a lot of the actual good cards are generally like rares or mythic rares. So it's interesting to try to build a cool deck that is only using commons. So I've just been playing around with that and something I've been interested in the past few days.
Uh, you're doing this with. I know they're like
I'm just
Magic
doing
the
it by
Gathering.
myself. But yeah,
Okay, we should do another Magic stream.
I
I
was thinking
think.
about doing that today, but you know, We're doing a podcast at the moment. So
Next time, next time.
yeah,
You know, I'm also a Magic expert. I
you
know how to
are.
tap a land card.
You just tap on it.
But we're running a little long here. Do you want to touch on any of these final topics before we close this one out, or
Um,
should we save them for the next episode?
you know, what, let's talk about that the that road trip thing
Oh,
just briefly.
we watched the content on YouTube from two different content creators, Eddie Burback and Ted Navision, where they went to every rainforest cafe in North America. That's the U.S. and Canada, which was 18 altogether. It was one big road trip. It took them 3 weeks. And Tim and I were kind of joking, like, what if we wanted to do something like that? And it's like we couldn't even think of like what chain restaurant we would care.
Yeah,
Like maybe Cheesecake Factory, but then maybe we'd just do
there's just a
Illinois.
little too
Just do
many
it.
of the. It turns out
You're right.
there's like a few hundred at least. It's not like Rainforest Cafe where there's like a little less than 2 dozen. It's like, I mean, that's still a long time to dedicate to that kind of thing, but it's still like much more doable.
Right. You know, it's not trying to be copycats, but I just like the novelty of it. I like the
Yeah,
novelty of a road trip with an objective. You know what I
yeah.
mean? I don't know.
Beyond like
Well,
moving or something like that, that people do sometimes.
if we get a big enough following, maybe we'll consider that kind of content, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll just stop by the nearest Long John Silver's and call it a day.
Isn't there one near you or something?
No, the one near me closed a while back.
Oh,
I think the nearest one would be in the city.
no. It's still
But
not a far trip
yeah,
really.
just hop on the train, yeah. But on that note, thank you all for watching this episode. This podcast episode number 23. If you're watching on YouTube, please be sure to hit like and subscribe. Check the description box below for the links to all our socials. And if you are watching the video version of this podcast, Tim, I think you have a special treat for if you're listening to the audio version. This is just going to be the regular outro for you. But if you're listening to, or if you're
I have a what
watching the
now?
video version, what's that?
I have a what now?
Do you have a special outro for us now?
Sure. Why not? I
Are
did.
we going to do this?
Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. Oh, no. There we go.